And we are live. Good morning, everybody. It's your favorite truck driver in the whole wide world. It's Bitcoin Ben here with the daily What in the Plug is going on in cryptocurrencies and the rest of the world. Well, as usual, Monday morning is Security Morning, Monday. And so we bring on our special guest, the elderly gentleman from St. Louis, Patrick. Good morning, Patrick.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. Yeah.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was nice. Did a little traveling. Was a long flight, but it was good. Yeah.
Good,
Nice
good,
and
good,
relaxing.
good. Now, you may or may not have heard, but apparently some royalty had passed on or something. I think a queen or something over in England or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
It barely made the news, you know. And you would think that this woman walked on water from the day she was born until the day they threw her ass into the grave, and which is today, in fact. And this has just gotten out of control with how far the mainstream media can shove their nose up her dead ass. It's ridiculous. I watched it for 5 minutes and it was sickening with, oh, she was such a leader and such a, such an icon and such a this and such a that. And I'm like, the woman lived on welfare for 70, 80 years. She lived off the taxes of the people. She lived off the rents of the people on her land. And these people are like, oh, without her, we never would have made it. That's like going your whole life with a leech on your neck, and then the leech actually dies, and you're like, it was such a good leech. I'm going to miss that leech and the rest of the leeches. I don't understand this human need to have someone above them to look up to royalty or look up to these leaders who are just absolutely dipshits. I don't get it. I guess maybe it's my ego that has me, or I don't have the capability of putting anybody, any human above me. I mean, is it me, or do you feel that? Where it's like, what made this bitch so special?
No, I have a problem with being a lemming and wanting somebody to point out which cliff I need to jump off of. But you know what? I think culturally, I know culturally we come from different places in terms of the British and us. We had a little revolution. They didn't like it. We told them to shove it. You're not going to give us a say in what goes on with the tax money that we send you. Well, we're out of here. Started a fight. I think it resolved itself the way it needed to, but now we have other folks who are taking that role, who think they are the ones that should be telling us what we need to do.
Absolutely. And for some reason, a large swath of humans just, they wake up in the morning. I had a conversation in the airport yesterday because I'm sitting there waiting for the flight, and I heard these two guys, obviously not heterosexual men, and they were talking about, oh, you know, being a progressive is you know, one of the guys said it feels so good to be on the right side of society. And I, of course, not having the capability of shutting the hell up.
You have the right to remain silent. You just don't have the ability.
Yeah, exactly. I literally looked over and I said, are you admitting to being a progressive? And the guy's like, proudly. And I look at him and I go, you know, the progressive movement wanted to eliminate homosexuals in a grand scale, right? This guy looked at me like I had three heads. And he goes, excuse me? And I said, well, the progressive movement was actually based on genetically eliminating homosexuals and non-whites. And you would have thought I told this guy breaking news. And he goes, no, I think you've got the wrong progressive movement. And I'm like, well, okay. Number one, I didn't know there were competing progressive movements since the 1800s. And so I start laying out the history of the progressive movement. This guy at the end of it goes, I don't believe that's true.
But he couldn't offer an alternative, could he?
Right. And I literally said, it doesn't matter if you believe it or not. It is factually true that everything I just said, including Planned Parenthood and the entity prior to Planned Parenthood, which was the Family Management Organization, almost exactly Planned Parenthood, was founded and encouraged that if your child was homosexual, that you should put them in a mental institution because they are, exact words of Margaret Sanger, mentally deficient in the parts of the brain controlling sexuality.
How did that go over?
This guy clenched his imaginary pearls and just was so insulted. And I finally said, look, you might want to quit calling yourself a progressive until you figure out what a progressive is. And this guy wouldn't look at me, wouldn't. Now his partner was dumbfounded because it was obvious the guy I was talking to was the husband. The other, assuming wife. And I just destroyed their fallacy. And when we got on the plane, that I could feel the daggers in the back of my head that this guy was throwing me. And it's, I can't imagine being that stupid. It's like joy. It's like walking around saying, I'm a member of the KKK. Really, what do you guys do? We sell Tupperware. Really? Do you know the history of the KKK? No, but we got some good Tupperware. It's idiotic. It's the unwillingness to educate yourself in the history of what you're claiming to be. It's like me claiming to be a Catholic, but having absolutely no knowledge of Catholicism. Or me claiming to be Jewish and not knowing anything about Judaism. We have liberals are the smartest stupid people you'll ever meet in your life. They will claim knowledge that doesn't even fucking exist. And yet they want to be taken seriously. It's impossible to have a conversation with somebody who reality is so unplugged that they make shit up and then go, I want you to respect and believe it.
My imagination.
It's like little Johnny wanting to be Superman. And I've said this in the past, him climbing up to the roof of the fourth floor with his little towel tied around his neck. And then me looking at little Johnny up there and him saying, I'm Superman. And me going, yep, jump, Johnny, jump. Then when Johnny jumps and squashes his ass on the concrete below, having someone go, "Oh, little Johnny's dead." Yeah, because little Johnny was a dumbass. We have to start pointing out stupidity and advertising it.
Well, and stop giving out helmets.
Yeah, no more helmets. No more idiot. No more protection from stupidity. If someone wants to chop off their willy and then claim to be a woman, I say we all giggle, laugh, and go, "Did you really cut your dick off?" Because you know that doesn't, that's like me putting on a wig and then driving around in a convertible and then being surprised when my hair flies off. Well, I thought for sure my hair, my false hair, would hang on. No. Accept reality, accept gravity, accept that if you cut your willy off in 1,000 years, if they dig you up, they're still gonna know you're a guy. They're just gonna assume you were an idiot because you're one willy short. I want to believe that humanity can come back from this. I want to believe that common sense is going to reign. I'm not seeing any common sense clouds.
No, and it's going to take one hell of a rally cap or rally squirrel to pull us out of this nosedive.
Yeah, I blame mainstream media. It's like we got a bunch of retards on at 5 and 6. Join us, the whole story at 6. And we got a bunch of retards on TV who are reading news that they know to be false.
Oh, if you take, for instance, in the past month and a half, the illegal immigrant situation where Abbott and DeSantis are sending them up north. Now, we know that border has been porous for over 2 years. And Biden's been clearly far more of a problem contributing to that by calling off the border patrol. And now that the chickens are coming home to roost, there's nothing that they can do except deflect it and say, you know what, it's the responsibility of the governors. It's their fault for this. They should be taking care of it. Well, on a national scale, federal government has a responsibility to control all of our borders, and they're not doing it. And now, to your point, the media is going, they're taking advantage of the situation. They're doing things that are cruel and inhumane to these, what are they calling, migrants? And they're using word jumble in order to make it sound like they're being disadvantaged here. They started this journey knowing darn well that there's a possibility that they could get turned back, sent somewhere else. But whatever it is, they feel that it's worth the bet to push forward and come to this country illegally. And the Sunday morning shows, the duplicity of it all has been phenomenal. On the one hand, it's cruel and inhumane, but yet sending them by bus someplace as they were, or flying them. I mean, Biden was flying illegal aliens all over the country. But now that Abbott and DeSantis are doing it, or Ducey, it's cruel and inhumane. They're dropping them at the doorstep of the quote unquote sanctuary states and cities and saying, okay, you talk about being a sanctuary state or city, prove it. Let's see it. And they advocate.
Yeah.
Lori Lightfoot sends them out to the cities, counties outside of Cook County in order for them to be taken care of there, in towns that have Republican mayors.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that isn't planned. But the fact of the matter is they fail to hold up their side of the deal when they tell everybody that they're a sanctuary city or a sanctuary state.
We need to start shooting people at the border. That's it. You shoot 3 or 4 of them sons of bitches. Watch how quick that you ain't having nobody cross.
Shooting's too easy. I say you put them up on a pike and let them hang there.
It's what happened to American sovereignty. What happened to the American, idea of we want the best? And I'm not talking about the best gardener, right? I'm talking, we want the best of the best now. And I've had so many people go, well, what about give us your poor, give us your... That wasn't originally on the Statue of Liberty.
And you know what? That's perfectly
They added
acceptable.
that.
That's perfectly acceptable as long as the people follow the process. There is a guideline for this. There is a legal format. Follow it. Adhere it. We are a country of laws. The notion that you can cut line just because it's politically expedient for the left to increase the rolls of their voters eventually through, they're talking about amnesty programs. That's what this is all about, honestly. Little do they know that the Venezuelans are not going to be voting left.
No.
Okay? Not with the bullshit that they've dealt with.
They are the opposite of the left.
That is correct.
And you and I have actually talked about this in the past. California is a shithole with great weather. It's like an air-conditioned Johnny on the spot. It's full of shit, but it feels good. And we have, I can't even agree with you on that anymore. I don't want retards brought into America. I only want the best. We've accepted. No, we got plenty of retards. We are full. The retard department of America is full. We need more smart people. We need more people who are willing to improve America as a fundamental belief that when they come here, they lift America up, not America lifting their sorry asses up. Right? If you come to America and the first thing on your mind is what can I get for free, you're not the type of people we want. It's what's wrong with having high standards anymore? What's wrong with looking at someone and going, no, I'm sorry, you're too stupid. If they're stupid, they're stupid. That's it. And we need to bring more freedom lovers. We need to bring more entrepreneurs. We need more good people. And yes, I am separating good from bad.
And I think that's the line of demarcation. I don't think you can run an IQ test on somebody who's coming in. And honestly, somebody's got to work the fryer, you know?
Oh,
so
we got plenty of fryer cooks.
Yeah, but they're not good. I mean, not all of them are good. So I think the basis is the quality of the human being that's being
How
brought in.
good do you need your fries?
Well, you just said that you're separating between good and bad. And I think that's the point of separation. If you got a criminal history, your ass isn't coming in here.
Yes. Yep.
And other things are trainable. I mean, yes. and you can't run an IQ test on somebody who grew up in a different culture and expect them to score well.
See, I think it'd be pretty simple. Number one, if you have any tattoos on your face, you're disqualified. Now, some people might say, oh, they got that when they was young. And at some point in their life, they were stupid. And I'm not willing to risk my country on a relapse of stupidity. Because if you don't have enough common sense not to get a tattoo on your face, sorry, stupidity's in your DNA. And it's going to come back up. We as an American society need to start voting on excellence and not listening to stupid people. Anybody who says, well, I feel, you smack them. You smack them and you say, shut up. Your feelings are stupid because you're stupid. Anyone leading a government structure with feelings is an idiot. I am so sick and tired of somebody telling me that their feelings should matter to me. That's like someone telling me, well, I like upside down pineapples. So should you. I don't like upside down pineapples. That doesn't work for me culturally. Well, you should accept upside down pineapples. I accept they exist, but that does not mean that I'm going to live my life in an upside down pineapple way. And this idea that we have to give a shit about anyone else's feelings is absolutely just dog shit.
I don't disagree with that at all. I mean, the second you start doing that, anything resembling logic is out the window.
Right. Logic is obvious to those of us who are remotely tied to common sense. If your school board is thinking about bringing in some drag queens just to expose the first graders or second graders or third graders or any graders to the diversity of the drag queens, fire them. In fact, have them arrested, because we need to start arresting these people who are exposing our children to sexual deviancy. And it is that. I don't care what, I don't give a crap what you do in bed. But don't bring it to my child's school and try to label it as normal.
Right.
Because it ain't. You don't see cross-dressing in nature. You don't see a squirrel dressing up like a female squirrel. You don't see a male peacock pulling out his feathers so he can resemble a female peacock. No. You know why? Because peacocks understand, oh, look, I'm a boy. This is going to get me in real trouble.
Hello. This is going to be ground that you've never entered before.
Oh, I know. You have two choices. Either, and believe it or not, but there's no argument, either homosexuality is a choice or it is a mental issue. Because if homosexuality, if you were born gay, it's like me with my speech impediment. I was born wired with a speech impediment. Right? If you're born gay, then the area of your brain that handles sexuality is wired wrong. That's just a fact. Or it's a choice. That's it. Now, if you're gay, that's fine. I don't care. It has nothing to do with me. But don't act like that's the equivalent of me walking around, hey, I talk normal. And even though I have a speech impediment, I want people to accept that the way I talk is normal. When I go to a speech therapist, the therapist should say, "Oh, you're fine. Nothing wrong with you." You can't have both. You can't say it's normal and yet it isn't normal. I'm just so sick and tired of our society living in this self-applied illusion. We want people to feel comfortable in their stupidity. And we can't make them comfortable because then they'll always be stupid. You don't make somebody right by agreeing with their stupidity. And you see it in our schools where, we need to lower the test. The tests are too hard. No, the students are too stupid. Let's up the, not everyone needs to go to college. Like you said, we need burger flippers. We need people that don't go to college. College used to be for the people that valued knowledge. Now university or college is just the next level of brainwashing after high school. It's no longer furthering in engineers, doctors, things that you have to teach, techniques and applied sciences. That's what college should be for. If you're going to college to learn about women's studies or even male studies, is there even a male studies curriculum?
No, I have no clue. I have no clue. You know, that crap came along well after I was out. So
I want to know, what are they learning? What are they being taught?
right.
What value are they bringing? See, I used to get told that the reason they have all these extra classes in college you got to take is so you're well-rounded. No, it's so you're fully indoctrinated. See, if you're going to college to be a marketing expert, you should be taking marketing classes. That's it.
No, I completely disagree with that.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. What else should you know if you're going into marketing other than things about marketing?
You need to know finance. You need to know
Why?
accounting. Because the implications of your decisions in the marketing department have financial implications to the organization. You have to understand the future value of money. What's my present cost of what I'm doing? How's it going to impact the bottom line over the course of 36 months, 48 months, 60 months? I have to know statistics because I am proofing. It's an empirical angle in marketing. When you start doing direct marketing campaigns, you have to know what success is and what it isn't. It's not determined based off of these were successful programs that were run, and isn't this tagline neat? There are scientific basis for knowing these other things relative to the success of a program. And you can't have your own set of blinders on working purely in the marketing department. If you're working in an organization and everybody pulls the rope in the same direction, you have to understand what the other areas are doing to some extent. Not completely, but enough to know that we need to be doing this and why we need to be doing this in tandem with one another. So the notion that I am just, Johnny's a one-trick pony doesn't help the organization over the course of time.
Now that I agree with, and I'll tell you why. Because what you explained was not what I'm really talking about. I'm talking about why, when I went to college for 1 month, I wanted to go to college and learn about computers.
Okay.
I was in a class learning about what type of rocks existed, primarily in Egypt. What the fuck does that have to do with learning about computers? Nothing. Now, if they would have said, okay, in computers, you're gonna want to learn about a little bit of electrical, or a little bit of some other applied science. Everything you just talked was an applied science. Like accounting, learning finance, learning statistics. I agree with all that. It's these other horseshit things that have no relevance in what you're actually going for that I have a problem with. It's if you wrote up, if you want to get your marketing degree, you're going to have to take a class in statistics. Totally agree with that. Or this, or in actual like finance. I agree with that. But if you're going for marketing and one of your classes is arts from the 1800s or some horse shit like that, that makes no sense.
Well, and again, that depends on what degree you're going for. If it's art history, okay. If it's there are universities that have what they call arts and letters program. It's a liberal arts degree, and you're going to have psychology, you're going to have English, you're going to have a communications class, you're going to have art history, you're going to have an environmental science. It's a well-rounded degree, and if it's from a good university, that allegedly is what gets you in the door with a company. Now, are there arts and letters companies out there? There are companies that will hire you. You'll do an internship maybe some summer, but ultimately you're going to have to go to graduate school and really narrow down the field of study that you'll want to enter, because otherwise it's going to take you another 10 years to get there. uh, that's just the way this shit's set up, and I don't agree with it at all. But
yeah, I personally think what we need is not universities. We need to go the old school way. We need to go with companies hiring interns and teaching them the reality of the market and not some bullshit illusionary idea of the market, of whatever industry they're going into.
mm-hmm.
You know, and when I was in the union with the carpenters, you know, yeah, I had classes, but 95% of what I did was on the job learning from guys who knew how to do it.
Right.
And we've all heard this. Most of the time, you'll be like, all right, you know that shit they taught you in school? Yeah, throw that all away. That's all bullshit. So as soon as you think about it, you dropped $100,000 to get this little piece of paper. Now somebody in the career that you want just told you, yeah, remember that $100,000 you just dropped? Yeah, lose all that bullshit. In one paragraph, an experienced whatever you want to be just told you you wasted your friggin' money. Because number one, success at work is not actually based on your education. Success at work is your ability to learn the environment in which you work. And your level of effort. That's it. I would rather take an eager beaver who's ready to get in and learn how the business really works than some college kid who has half-assed his way through college, shows up looking for a paycheck, and goes, I don't really know how to do this job. I can't tell you how many friends I've had who graduated college, show up for their first day of work, and honestly tell me, I didn't know what to do. I had to wait for somebody to tell me what to do. If you go through 4 years of education, show up on a job site, and you need your boss to tell you what to do, something's wrong. That's like going to school for 4 years to learn how to build a house, then show up on a job site and go, okay, where do I start?
Well, it's a bit different in that, from my boss's perspective, he might have certain things in mind that I'll be doing with the team. Maybe it's just learning the ropes. Maybe it's sitting with my colleagues for the course of the next month. Here's some busy work. Here's your computer. Start putting this data in. And it's learning the ropes in the office setting at the outset of your entrance into the organization. And then things become more complicated as your skills are being assessed and determined, and when they figure out whether or not you're going to make it or if they need to show you the door. So it's not it's not like I can get on the job and start swinging a hammer right away. Here's a stack of 2x4s, move them over here. Then I want you to start cutting them into these certain lengths.
Why not?
Because there are a variety of different formats that my data analysis needs to take. I don't know what my output is going to be until it's shown to me. I don't know what my inputs are. So there's a definition, there's a period where definitions are being explained and understood. But if I don't have the principles that allow me to execute accordingly, that'll be known really fast. It's conceptual as opposed to this is a physical item that needs to be converted from A to B. These are conceptual processes, and there are a variety of different ways to achieve this. And your boss may have one way that he wants it done, even though you see that there's 3 different ways that it can be done. There's a matter of satisfying what the boss wants to have accomplished and the format that he needs it in, because he needs to run it up the line from there. So it's not just, I'm framing this out. Yeah. There are much more subtle nuances associated with it, because ultimately the senior vice president of the department may not want to see it in that way. And if I'm told to come up with a cost break-even analysis or break-even analysis or cost-benefit analysis, that may not be what he wants to see. And he may want this thing run out over 36 months as opposed to just the next 12. So those are things that I have to have explained to me. And what's the previous template that was being used? Because for the time being, I'm going to use what the boss had seen.
Okay,
yeah.
I guess because I never really went to college, and I don't know. It's the now that I have more experience dealing in corporate structures. The people I see succeeding, they all share a trait of hard work more than education. Like, you're a hard worker in every aspect of your life. You value excellence over, a lot of things. But that's your personality. That's who you are. You would be that if you were a bricklayer. You would, you and I actually joke about that one area drywall that you see and it annoys the shit out of you. It's that work ethic, that excellence to achieve it, and because there are people who have, I know a guy who has 3 doctorates, can barely tie his fucking shoes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It makes me question these entities that are handing out these pieces of paper.
Well, they're a business, and if there's somebody who wants to go for a doctorate and pay for that, then here you go. Here's your seat. I'm sorry. Here's your bill too.
Yeah, but they should flunk them.
Well, if the guy, if the guy's in there and he's achieving the objective of the professors and he's meeting the requirements of the program, it's not up to them to determine whether or not he's applying this on a social basis and getting the jobs that he needs and subsequently the income that corresponds with it. That's on him. I mean, if he's an idiot and wants to keep on going back, and bellying up to the bar without ultimately achieving satisfaction, you just hope that he doesn't drive heavy machinery, or that he's fathering any children, because that shit never ends.
Oh, Patrick, are you available to come on the show tomorrow? Because we had Security Monday without a whole lot of security.
Right. Yeah. Tomorrow's tough because I have to go to a funeral tomorrow morning. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Unless
I can do it live.
Huh?
Unless I can remote in. Yeah, from the funeral. Yeah.
Live from the funeral, Patrick. Hi, Ben. Things are dead around here.
She would appreciate that.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
How about on Wednesday?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. For those wanting the security report, come back on Wednesday. Patrick, tell us about CALIX Solutions and the laptops.
Sure. We are actually expanding our laptops. We had previously been running off of HP, or not HP's, but Lenovo's 8 gigabyte, 286 gig of solid state drive with an i5 processor. We've moved up to a Lenovo i7 processor with 12 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of solid state drive. The processor's the thinking part. We've upgraded that. And the RAM, the increase in RAM allows for additional space when you open applications. So it's going to make sure that the machine moves a little faster. You're not getting choked down or bogged down by too much information in the random access memory. So those machines are working out wonderfully. They're 15.6 inches, and they hum. And then we have one up from that. We have one Lenovo, same platform, i7 processor, 16 gigabytes of RAM. And that's the one that you would need if you were running a dataless wallet, if you are running a Theta Guardian node, and Lord knows what else, because ultimately a lot of these cryptocurrencies are going to be moving to requirements that suck up a lot of RAM, and they're going to want a 16 gig machine, but that's down the road. But we have them for the folks that want to start doing that now.
All right. Anyone interested in a crypto laptop from CALIX Solutions, please give Patrick a call at 702-845-8276.
And not to leave out the Mac folks, we have the same scenario in terms of RAM requirements there, and the processors are the same. Just as
if you're an Apple person, we got you covered. If you're a PC, we got you covered. So, and we will be bringing back Patrick on Wednesday for a security update. So, everyone have a great day. I am moving on over to Patreon for the rest of the rant. Love you guys. Patrick?
Yes, brother. Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.